I was always aware of energy. I was one of these people that was born with the ability to see energy around people, around things. And so that awareness of energy I buried for many, many years. And when I was in my early 20s, I decided to re-explore it, which led down the road of looking at yoga, looking at nutrition, deciding on a complete change of career. I was very fortunate in my mid-20s to meet my husband Michael, and he really supported me in that journey. And we moved from Cork to Clare, and my intention was to set up a healing centre in West Clare. Now, that sounds very, very normal thing to be doing now, but 35, 40 years ago, that was quite an adventure. And it certainly wasn't a project that people expected to be successful. So much so that when I was actually building the rooms that later grew into my centre, the builder decided that he would change the design so that when it wasn't successful, I could turn it into a little apartment to let. So for anybody starting a business now, trust me, I know what it's like. I know how important it is to believe in yourself, and how important it is to have other people who believe in you too. And very often you just need to have a passion and to follow it through. I had a passion, I had belief that what I was doing could bring good to people, and I had a deep desire to help others. And through my own journey, I had experienced a lot of death and loss, and so through that journey I wanted to be able to bring hope and a different way of looking at things. And I came across the work of Louise Hay, and I felt that that was the answer for many, many people. The book that really hit me, one of her books, The Power is Within, I thought was a very, very powerful statement. And that was the one that sort of pushed me towards wanting to learn more. So I read everything I could find. I searched everywhere for more information. And then I had a situation where I had an opportunity to extend my centre. I had been working one-on-one with people, working through nutrition, through healing, through the body-mind connection. But I always wanted to bring groups of people together. I had a passion for the idea that if we created the right group energy, we really could make a difference to people. And so when I extended my centre, I built a workshop room, and I set about finding the right person to run workshops based on Louise's philosophy, because I knew that this was something that was available in the UK and in the US. And I failed to find anybody in Ireland who was willing to come to West Clare and run those workshops for me. I would bring everybody that came to my centre in to look at my workshop room and saying, this is where I'm going running the Heal Your Life workshops, and do you know of anybody? And I was very fortunate that there was an American lady who actually had contact with Louise Hay, and she happened to be a client of mine at the centre, and she informed me that Louise was coming on a private visit to Ireland, and she would arrange for me to meet her. And like many another person, when you get the chance to meet your guru, it's a bit frightening, and I came up with every reason under the sun for not going there. And I didn't go. But Caroline went, and she came back with a message from Louise that if Eileen wants my work to grow in Ireland, she needs to get off her butt and do it herself. And that's literally what I did. I think very, very often what people don't realise is the power of the mind in the healing process. And that body-mind connection, where if you can bring yourself into a place where you believe that the power to heal is not just external, that it is also internal, that can really bring great calm into the body, and the calm and the peace that you receive is very much a part of allowing the healing to flow. Louise Hay was very much known for the body-mind connection, and a lot of people misunderstand that because they feel that that's a judgment, that she's saying, you know, we brought this illness onto ourselves by our thinking. But what I've always seen it is that if I have something that's out of balance in my body, and if I have a thought that is blocking the path to healing, well, I think it's incredibly foolish not to explore that thought, not to look at it and see what can I change. And very often now in modern Ireland, what we find is that a lot of people are ill because of stress that is created by lifestyle, by thinking, by the fact that a lot of people are living in the fight and flight situation. And they're looking for ways to continue in that strain of living without actually realizing that what you need to do is to look at things differently, come out of the state of fear and come back into your own body. And the belief that I've always had is that our bodies have an incredible ability to heal themselves once we give them the right circumstances. That's a fairly big one, and it's a very, very simple one, because to me, while I am in a state of judgment and resentment towards somebody else, I am staying stuck in the energy of that person. And while you're stuck in the energy of that person, you're bringing in more and more of that same type energy. And forgiveness to me is a state of setting myself free. It does not condone the other person's bad behavior. It simply says, I forgive you for not being the person I expected you to be. And I set myself free to meet the type of person that I would like to have in my life. It's got nothing to do with you. It's all to do with me and my beliefs. And I think it is the most powerful way that we have of bringing freedom and peace and ease into our lives. One of the most basic ones actually is the simple head cold. And very, very often if you find yourself coming down with a head cold and you just look at how much stuff is going on in your head, and before you go to bed at night, if you write it down and then practice a little bit of good, healthy breathing through your nose rather than through your mouth to bring your stress levels down, you'll find your head cold could be gone by morning. And that's a really good, simple technique to practice for yourself. But one of the big ones, again, is that adrenal response that a lot of people are living in, that sense of fight or flight. And they ignore it until they start getting sick, stomach issues, digestive issues, heart palpitations. All of those have very, very early health warnings that we could simply change. One of the things that I say to people, and I see a lot of people with digestive issues, and one of the things that I say to them is, when you're eating, does your body actually know that it's meant to digest food? Or does it think that it's meant to keep going? Because that's the difference in the fight or flight situation. In the flight situation, the important thing is to keep going. Our digestive system shuts down. And when we say we are now going to eat food, even the simple act of sitting down at a table as opposed to eating on the go will tell your body now it's time for digestion. And so you can avoid a lot of digestive problems. Honestly, I say to people, when we threw out the grace before meals, we were throwing out a very simple way of preparing our body. Something as simple as closing your eyes, taking a breath and saying, I'm going to eat now, can be hugely impactful on your digestive system. And also, one of the things I love to do is to smell your food, because our sense of smell prepares the body for the fact that it's going to digest food, and we ignore that. Honestly, one of the things that I really love when we start a training program, we bring people together for 7 days or 10 days of intensive training. They'll have met online, but you bring them together for the first physical getting together, and everybody feels they're different. And by the end of the first day, they recognize that it doesn't matter what language they speak, it doesn't matter what country they came from, what they want and what they're looking for is all the same. Because right across the world, what people want is they want to be understood, they want to feel safe, they want to understand what love is, and they want to be able to appreciate themselves and what contribution they can bring to their world. Well, I'm really excited about any of my trainings, and we've just recently finished one in Ashley Park House in Nina, which is a fabulous venue. We had, for the first time ever, and I'm offering these trainings now for many years, and for the first time ever, we actually had 8 Irish women. together, which was a really powerful, very different energy. In the UK and very, very often in Ireland, we bring together a group of diverse people. The core thing is that people want to have a passion to help others to improve their life by understanding the concept of the body-mind connection, how your thinking, how your emotions can actually help to heal and improve your life rather than to be a block towards your success. I really wish I could call it my new book, but it's an upcoming book. It's in the process, and it's a book that I'm really, really passionate about getting out there, because in the course of our trainings and in the course of the workshops that we run, we do a lot of work around forgiveness, and forgiveness is a challenging subject for a lot of people because they tie it in with the way they have been treated, rather than forgiveness being something, a gift that they can give to themselves. And so over the years, I have done a lot of forgiveness work with people, and what I have found is that it is a pathway to a power within myself that gives me the freedom to live life on my terms rather than bringing other people's bad behavior with me. And I live beside the sea all of my life, so one of the things that I like to do is to have this vision of people moving on a boat. Letting the person who has caused them the pain and the problems, letting them go on the boat. You hold on to them if you still find resentment. So we do a lot of work around emotions and releasing of emotions first before you step into the forgiveness. Otherwise, you're just putting a plaster on things. And then you can let them go with love and light on their boat. And I did have a situation which was a real situation where somebody actually got on the ferry to Kerry from County Clare after a forgiveness journey and brought huge freedom into many lives in doing that. So there's my book.